Hello, you beautiful soul. Should I ever feel guilty about enjoying myself? What a question. And I feel like this issue is something that most of us have some experience with at some point in our lives. And ultimately, only we can answer the question for ourselves, but maybe I can help give you a bit of perspective as well. So I'm going to answer the question for you. No, you should never, ever feel guilty for enjoying yourself. And here's why I make such a claim. I believe that on our journey of life, each of us is, first of all, only ultimately ever responsible for ourselves and only responsible for our own enjoyment. It is our responsibility. Furthermore, I believe our ultimate purpose in life, if there is such a thing, is to seek enjoyment and bring about the most positive feelings we can despite our circumstances. So, whenever we're going through life and stuff is happening, we're either going to feel good about whatever happened to us or feel bad about whatever decisions we make along the way. So, it's a great reference point to decide what it is that we should do in the future based upon whatever fits into the equation of this is me expressing my highest, most authentic, best self. And it takes that contrast for us to decide, who am I and how should I live my life? What decisions would I make that fits into the best me that I want to be? We can only decide this from contrasting experiences, from the good and the bad. What is good without bad in our own framework? So it's great that we have all these experiences. I think the best thing you could do is have as many experiences as possible, because the more experience, the more contrast, the bigger the pool to draw from and decide, okay, I really liked myself based on this experience, so I'm going to do more of that. I didn't really feel well inside based on this experience, so I'm not going to do so much of that. But that being said, never feel guilty about enjoying yourself through any of it. I would advise or hope that you enjoy yourself in all of the experience. Experience is just experience. And until we have that experience, how are we even going to know whether it's something that fits into our own paradigm or not? So approach every experience with as much enjoyment and embodiment and mindfulness as possible. And then you can reflect later on whether or not it was worth it to you. And we're all only going to have our own idea of what's worth it to us or not. We'll each have to make that decision for ourselves. But don't ever let that color your enjoyment of the experience that leads to the conclusion. Embrace every experience as much as you possibly can, and then in hindsight you can decide whether or not you want to repeat it or, this doesn't really fit into who I am. I'm not going to do that anymore. Which brings me to a hot topic, and it's something I observe a lot and people ask me a lot about, and that is relationships. So if you're in a partnership with somebody, first of all, please, for your own sake, openly communicate whatever your boundaries and your commitment level is. And that'll probably change. So throughout your partnership, keep that communication open. And then once you decide, okay, this is our level of boundaries we both agreed upon, and we know that we won't cross that line. If the area is kind of gray and you haven't really decided, openly communicated it, then it's going to be kind of confusing, and you might not know what decisions to make if you don't have that context. So please do that. But even if something happens, you have an experience that when you reflect upon it, I don't feel really that good about it, don't ever feel guilty about enjoying it in that moment, because that was you choosing to have an experience. And as with anything, please do enjoy whatever experience going into it and be mindful of it. And then at the end of it, in hindsight, you can decide whether or not it's something you want to keep doing now and in the future or not. Just don't let it color. It's this concept of guilt that I would love for you to get away from. Well, if it serves you, I choose not to have any guilt over anything myself, and it gives me so much inner peace in my journey. Maybe it will for you. You'll have to try it for yourself. But if anything, the takeaway here is embrace every experience with the full self of your being and with the full pleasure going into it. Then you can decide in hindsight if it was worth it or not. Rinse, repeat till the end of your days. I hope this maybe gives you a new perspective on things.